Hey, welcome to Pod of Mercy. I am your host, Long Hair Linda, and today's special guest co-host is...
Yaneth, everyone's favourite gobshite.
Everyone's favourite gobshite? I don't know about favourite. Defo a gobshite though.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm really good.
Well, I'm really glad you're here. Surprisingly, I thought I'd be dreading this, but I've actually been looking forward to it, to be fair.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Have you managed to listen to any episodes at all yet?
Yes, I've listened to the episode that you've done with Nick, and I listened.
He was shit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was terrible. The best bit about the one with Nick is where someone falls up the stairs.
That would have been you, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder you think that's the best bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of familiar with how the show goes.
Yeah.
So you know that we get started with a rapid fire round.
Yeah.
So I've got 10 questions that I'm going to ask you, and you've got 45 seconds to answer each one. Do you think you'll manage it in that time?
Yeah.
You'll do it?
Yeah, because
you're confident?
I'll just say the first thing that comes to my head, like I do in life anyway.
That's literally you. Okay, cool. Right, let me get my timer together and we'll get going. So, are you ready?
Indeed.
Okay, and go. Texting or phone calls?
Text.
Favourite golf clubs to use?
Driver.
Would you rather live forever and be comfortable or be super wealthy and die at 50?
Super wealthy and die at 50.
What's the best dish you cook?
Salt and chicken.
First thing you do when you wake up?
Check Twitter.
Favourite Marvel superhero?
Deadpool.
What's the one thing you do that's guaranteed to cheer you up when you feel down?
Ringo.
Biggest addiction?
Alcohol.
Starter or dessert?
Starter.
Best advice you've ever received?
Stay off social media.
Mate, you did that in 34 seconds.
Told you.
You had 11 seconds to go.
See?
That's mad. That's well.
Am I the best at doing that?
You might be. Yeah, I think you probably got the best time.
I reckon Nick will think that he beat me, but
Nick does. He's in the room. He thinks he's putting his arm up like he did it.
I'm trying not to influence this because I know that everyone's going to want to listen to me, not you. So
this is my episode, not yours. Get out of this.
Okay, so speaking of your episode, so basically talking about mental health and mental wellness. It seems to be kind of super trendy at the moment, but it is a trend that I do love kind of being a part of because I think it's so healthy and super important. Exactly. So for a really long time, mental health has been overlooked, like in society, in my opinion. But these conversations seem to be kind of taking place all over the world, and it's like super progressive, which I love. Now, you've mentioned to me before about caring for your mother who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about your mum's diagnosis and how it affects her daily life?
So, like I said, I found out when I was 11 and my mum was bipolar, and I didn't really understand it until I was more like 14, 15. And it affects her day to day in terms of she can go 2 or 3 days and be really happy, really impulsive, and not care in the world, to days where she just wants to stay in bed. So it affects, because she can never predict how she's going to feel a day. Yeah. Every day's different. So it's hard to get like a routine going. Yeah.
So how's caring for her like impacting you, and what do you kind of do to make sure that your mental health kind of stays?
I kind of put mine to one side, which is not necessarily the healthiest thing to do, but for me it's all about just making sure that things are easy for my mum. When my mum's having a good day, it's easy because then I can go and do whatever I want to do, and stuff like when she's having a bad day, I've constantly got to be the other end of the phone, whether it's a text message, whether it's a phone call, whether it's like just to make sure that she's got someone to speak to and someone always there to like talk her through things.
Yeah. I think it is important though that you try to think about yourself as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, my mum's very supportive in the fact of she always tries to not, as she says, not bother me when I'm either at work or if I'm out doing something with my mates or anything like that. She always tries to say she's not bothering me, but I've always said to her, look, if I don't answer the phone when you ring me, if it's important, drop me a text, because we live in an era now where our phones are right in front of our faces all the time.
Yeah.
So if she texts me, she needs to speak to me about something, then I'll duck out and I'll go and speak to her and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Well, speaking of support, you mentioned that she tries to support you as well.
Yeah.
Do you kind of get any support from other people, like friends, family?
We do have, because it's just me and my mum, I don't have a massive family. There's no real like family. There's a few friends who about like, I know he's in the room now, but anytime my mum's ever been ill or been in hospital or anything, Gringo's one of the first people to ring me and check up and make sure I'm alright if I need anything. Same with like Nick and quite a lot of people that I've come close with over the last few months are there if I ever needed to talk to. In terms of help wise from like the NHS or anything like that, the Greater Manchester Mental Health were brilliant. But they've just recently gone through massive budget cuts. They've actually had 4 people resign and 2 people fired in the last couple of months. So my mum's not actually seen anyone from Greater Manchester Mental Health now for 6 weeks, which is not their fault. Not their fault at all. They're always at the other end of the phone, but the routine of someone coming to see my mum stopped, which has sort of threw her out a little bit.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that was going to be the next thing I was going to go into, was support from the NHS, because obviously it's when you talk about the staff in certain departments and stuff, obviously they're doing the absolute best they can, but with cuts, what can you do? Like if there's no one there to fill the gap.
And for me, the frustrating thing with the cuts, it's not down to like the NHS or the health or anything themselves. It's down to the higher ups from that. And considering that there seems to be a lot more of a massive push in terms of dealing with mental health now. Why are these cuts happening if it's something that a lot of people are pushing and wanting people to speak about more? And that was the confusing bit, and that's the frustrating bit for me. And that's why I get angry as to when my mum's not getting the help that she needs, or the help that we both need, is the fact that it's people just going, no, yeah, we care, but we're not going to do anything about it.
Really.
And that's the annoying thing about it.
What would you like to see? Like what do you think would help change that? Do you think it needs to be like more conversations like this where people can actually see how it's impacting people, and then maybe they'll go and vote for better representatives? Or what would you like to see?
There's only so much that we can talk about a thing before people have to take notice. And I think we're on the right path now. Like obviously we're involved in the lovely world of UK battle rap. I think the event that Bagnall did last year, the Battling Demons event, which I do know he has announced today that he's doing another one. I think things like that are getting noticed by more and more bigger sponsors. It's going to start a wave of where something has to change. Just the more people keep banging on the door, the more conversations like this, someone's finally going to have to go, do you know what, this is a massive problem. We need to tackle this head on.
I agree with you there, because like it does seem to be the case when everyone gets involved and there's money involved in something, then it starts to be, we start to get our way a little bit and get some help with different things. So hopefully that'll be the case with mental health.
Like I said, Greater Manchester Mental Health have been absolutely phenomenal in looking after them. They've been there since like her diagnosis when she was 11, and they've always been there, and there's never really been a problem. And like I said, they're always at the other end of the phone. And when they can physically get to someone there, but they're massively short-staffed at the moment. And I don't know why, like I said, through the cuts, and I don't know why this hasn't been tackled head on, because I'm saying it from a very selfish point of view in terms of I want my mum looked after, but then if I look at the bigger picture, I'm just one guy with a mum. There's going to be 1,500, possibly many more than that within just Manchester alone in the same situation as I am. So sometimes it's hard for me, because I'm angry and I want my mum to get looked after, but then I feel like I'm being selfish, so it's almost like a conflict in myself.
what advice would you give to people in a similar situation to you? So if they're caring for somebody with a similar diagnosis or the same diagnosis?
Advice-wise, I'm not the best carer in the world. There's times that I get frustrated.
You're human, though.
There is times that it's almost like, oh, come on, like I need to do this, I need to go back to work, I can't be on the phone. But patience is a virtue in this situation. You've just got to take the rough with the smooth, try and keep a level head, and don't let your emotions get involved. Like, if, for example, if my mum's having a really bad day, it might be something as little as I've not done the washing up, or I've not done something, or I've put a hat down on the table, and it can set her off. And then the conflict of, is she having a go at me? Is she personally attacking me? Because we are human and we will think that. So when situations like that happen, it's take a step back, take yourself out of the situation. I've had to learn that over the years, because as a lot of people who probably listen to this know, I'm not the easiest person to deal with. I have my moments where I go fly off the handle. But one thing I've learned over the years is sometimes you go outside, take 10-15 minutes, clear your head, and then try and address it head on. If you stay in an emotional space and an emotional situation with this, it can blow it up 10 times worse. So sometimes you and whoever you're caring for, you need 5-10 minutes where you pull back and then try and address it again when situation's gone.
Cool. Well, I think that's some good advice. So let me ask you this then, Yaneth.
Okay.
I probably know a couple of your answers to this, just from knowing you, outside, like you say, in battle rap. What do you do that chills you out, that means that you're going to have a good time? What do you go out and do and make sure that you get done?
So for me, I've got a lot of hobbies outside of battle rap that I partake in. So I've got my golf, which I've just recently started playing again, because I took 10 years off from playing golf due to personal reasons. Darts, I play darts, I play pool, just going out with my mates, just taking time out. Like I said, I've started listening to a different variant of podcasts, so not just your Sarcasm Cities, your Red Lions, your Pod of Mercies, but going out and expanding like my knowledge of other things. Like, I've got friends who are into rugby, who I've never understood rugby or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I've now started watching James Haskell's House of Rugby, because I think James Haskell's quite funny. So I've started watching podcasts like that, and then just like music stuff on YouTube. Like, you've got your Attic freestyles from RKid that just seem to be banging out left, right, and centre at the minute. I don't actually watch that much power rap anymore, unless someone I know is battling. Yeah. So it's just expanding. I watch a lot of cooking programs. I love my cooking.
I've seen.
It's so therapeutic.
It is. That's what I love about it. But do you find though, when you're cooking for yourself versus cooking for other people, you don't get that same satisfaction? Or am I just mad?
No, you're just mad. Then I can cook for me and my mum, or I'll go cook for a couple of friends, but I could not do his job. Like, one of my very good friends now, he is a chef by trade.
Yeah.
And he's been helping me like build up like my skills, because I knew how to cook a bit, but he's helped me loads in trying different things. And he does like rooms of 250 and stuff, and I'm just like, nah, I couldn't do that.
Okay, no. Let me be very clear. I do not mean I don't mean like a full-on catering situation, not at all. But I mean, even if you're just cooking for one other person, like for me, so I tend to cook a lot for myself rather than eat out. It's a thing I've been doing over the last few years, and I've just got into a good habit of doing that. But like, I will make the simplest, quickest stuff for myself, because after a day at work, I don't want to be exploring different dishes and trying to bake and figure out, like, I can't be arsed with all that. But if I've got someone coming round, or like my mum's visiting, or something like that, that's when I'm like, yes, I want to try this dish and that dish, and it gives me joy.
I don't really ever cook for just myself.
Okay.
I'm always cooking for me and my mum.
Right.
So, but when I do cook for myself, it's my opportunity to do stuff that my mum doesn't like. Like, one of my favourite meats is lamb.
Okay.
So my mum doesn't like lamb, so I can only really have that when I'm cooking
for just you.
For just me, or she fancies. I'm not a massive seafood eater. So she likes a lot of seafood and fish. So when she's having fish, I can then go and have my lamb dish. But then I will just get, instead of doing the lamb and like minting it myself and stuff like that, I'll just go and buy the pre-bought minted lamb, so it's easier. I get what you're saying with that. But when I did my first dinner party about a month ago, and the guys were just like, "Oh, just do a curry or something." I'm just like, "Nah." I know, and I went full Greek mode, made my own koftas and everything.
Nice.
So I'm going hell for leather with it. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds sick. See, I used to love doing I don't even know if I call them dinner parties, but they're not formal. I find that it sounds kind of formal. But I used to love cooking for mates, and they come round and you cook some random shit for people. But then when I went vegan, I just noticed more and more. I was like, people don't want to come round anymore because they think I'm just going to give them aubergines or something, and that's all they're going to eat.
Yeah, here's an iceberg lettuce and a bit of cabbage.
I know, right? Oh, speaking of, literally the other day, so I saw something. I'm doing vegan keto at the moment, so it's even worse, right? I'm not just eating plants. I'm also eating plants that don't have any carbs in. It's shit. So anyway,
yeah, I've got a bit of cardboard in my bag. Do you want that?
Do you know what? It's probably too fucking high in carbs. That's the thing. Everything I'm like, that will be all right. No, it's actually not. Anyway, I said that to say that right now I'm looking for dishes alternative versions.
Yeah.
So if I would have had a wrap, I'll try this lettuce wrap, which is what I saw on this recipe thing I was on. So I did a mushroom chili that was delicious. And I put it in.
Nice, actually.
It was really, really good, and I put it in a lettuce wrap.
Okay.
Here's the thing: lettuce wraps are a myth because it's lettuce. And I don't know what I expected, but I put a spoonful of my mushroom chili in this romaine lettuce, right? So a big bit of lettuce. I'm thinking, yeah, it will hold this. I folded it once, the thing fell apart.
The structural integrity of soup.
Literally. And then I'm trying to eat it, and I literally just ended up with just this mess on my plate. I just got the fork out. I was like, fuck this, I can't. You can't. It's so, yeah. It's garbage. I said all that to say that this diet at the moment that I'm on is garbage.
Do you know what you do? Just come back to eating meat.
No, I'm not doing that.
We're not going to get into that conversation. Yeah, we're not getting into that conversation.
What I will do though is once I've sorted myself out, I'm gonna pack this keto rubbish in.
Yeah.
Because it's crap. I'm on a carb day today though, so we're going to the cinema after to see Bad Boys for Life, and I am eating a massive fucking bucket of popcorn to myself. I don't want to see anyone else's hands going anywhere near it. I am okay. Nick's in the room, so we're gonna. We got to be careful. We have to be careful with any potential. What's the word? Not pun. Innuendo. Anything that could potentially be. Of course, you fucking knew what I was talking about.
I've just blocked that now. I'm sorry. I was oblivious to that.
We can't. How are we going to share a hot dog, Nick?
It's you start at one end, and I start at the other. We're going to just lay it in the trumpet.
You two are going to share the sausage.
With a hot dog.
Can you pause that?
You two are going to share a sausage.
Pause that.
I will not.
We're not sharing a sausage.
Listen,
I don't like where this is going.
I want Nick to get out of my podcast.
I'm highly uncomfortable. Don't worry, I'll let him out. Right.
I'll consider that.
So, thank you.
Gringo's jumping in now as well.
Gringo's in. Everyone's eating hot dogs except for me. Thank God I'm vegan. So, guys.
Can I lick the salt off your fingers?
You.
This is descended into madness.
I'll take one now.
Ted Bundy.
Literally Ted Bundy over here, right? Okay.
Anyway.
Right, so, okay, first of all, thank you so much, Jan, for actually being so honest and forthright with what you've been going through. I really hope that, your mum can start getting help again, and I hope that it all works out well for you, and I hope that you take a little bit more time out for yourself. And that you're able to.
Bad Boys.
That's why we're seeing Bad Boys, yeah. And I'm going to try and be nicer to you when I see you now because because I don't want to be rude to you after you've had a shit day.
No, but the thing is, this is the thing with for me, anything that goes on in my private life is my private life, and I don't want people treating me differently because of this. And this is not the intention of this at all. This is for anybody that's in my same situation to say that, like, a lot of people probably that listen to this won't know that side of me.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would want is anyone treating me differently. I'd rather you give me more shit. Because that's
Well, with that being said, I'm very happy you said that, because that was literally my way of getting you to tell me that it's okay to be an asshole to you, because then I won't feel bad.
I'm friends with Gringo, so, well, friends is a strong word.
I don't think Gringo's your mate.
No. I call him my friend, but I'm not his friend.
I don't think you're his friend.
No.
I think Gringo's beautiful.
Okay, thanks, Nick. Appreciate you. So, Yaneth, let's move on to our final segment of the show. This is called Mahakama, and it's Swahili for court, well, actually High Court, but you know. So this is the section or the segment of the podcast that allows me to judge people, things, situations. So I'm trying to be less judgmental in my life.
You've been judging me since the first day, man.
I know, I'm trying though, is my point. I'm trying to be better. So I figured if I have a place once every 2 weeks where I judge stuff, then I'll be less judgmental in my life.
I know where this is going.
Maybe.
Okay.
So this week, or this episode, I was thinking, I read something on the HollywoodUnlocked.com website about Fortnite.
Never played it.
So, you never played it?
No.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I'm so bad at it. I'm really bad at it.
Gringo kicked me out at FIFA all day yesterday.
See, I'm not a huge fan of... I've got FIFA, but I'm not a huge fan of FIFA. I prefer Pro Evolution.
I want to see Linda versus Gringo throwdown now on FIFA.
All right.
Or Pro...
I'll do Pro.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't played in maybe a year, but I'll do it.
We'll see that before we go to cinema.
I played it since this morning.
Right, anyway, so this article on the HollywoodUnlocked.com is about Fortnite, and it's basically Fortnite, one of the world's most popular games, will now be an official high school and college sport.
What?
All thanks to an LA-based startup called PlayVS. Now, so apparently PlayVS, it's a software company that provides leads, scheduling, and infrastructure.
Wait, what? There's all this sort of stuff for gaming now?
Mate, did you not hear about the tournament where the winner got $3 million?
Oh, what? Buy me a PlayStation.
14-year-old kid.
Nick, buy me a PlayStation 4, please.
Yeah,
You're paying back with the winnings.
Yeah, of course. It's a business investment.
So this PlayVS, they've teamed up with Epic Games, who own Fortnite, right? And they're going to bring like a competitive league that you can play at the like collegiate and high school level. Right? So basically, if you're at school or you're at college, you can actually choose this as a sport.
This is why we're in a generation of snowflakes, because when I was in school, I didn't even get to pick my own options. My dad made me pick my options. My dad picked my options for me, and now kids can go to school and play video games.
Well, this is where I'm coming to. So basically, tech companies, they're like really leaning into like profiting from what we as a society are clearly into. Like we're addicted to this stuff. So tech companies are like, all right, we'll just keep giving you more of it, right? But there is also the argument that they are creating jobs, opportunities, building on skill sets that could be useful in this like new world that we're living in.
How is being a nerd that sits at home playing a stupid video game all day gonna make like what? Where does that transition into everyday life?
But what about that 14-year-old that won $3 million in that
tournament?
Won $3 million
in that
tournament. Good now.
Yeah, they're good now. But what, like you just said there, with skills that can be taken into real life, how does winning a game of Fortnite transition into a real life skill?
$3 million is real life.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying.
No, but $3 million is real life money.
Right, I'm useless at manual labour, yeah? Completely useless.
I believe you.
I really, really wish when I was younger, every time my dad forced me to go to work with him, that I picked up more skills, their life skills. When I was sat at home playing Grand Theft Auto, all I learned was how to run prostitutes over and do bank jobs.
But what about, first of all, that can be real life. That's real life for some people. Secondly, what about automation? We're living in a world now where machines can do that for us, and they can do it quicker than us and get more achieved than we can as people. So if you did pick up those skills, not to say those skills aren't useful, I'm not trying to say anything about anyone that has those. Congrats, I don't, I envy you. But If a
Shout out
machine
Will
can do
Smith.
it, shout out Will Smith.
He predicted that iRobot's going to happen.
Oh,
We're going to get taken over by robots.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that reference, but I just wanted to shout out Will Smith. But my point is though, if a machine can do way more in way less time, more efficiently, then don't we need to have different skills that can help us? So if somebody is really, really good at Fortnite, for example, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, not that he needs any more advocates, but couldn't you make the argument that a kid like that, who's really clearly very skilled with his thumbs, that he might actually be more useful than somebody who can do something slower than a machine in the future?
The only way that kid would be more useful is if he'd have took the 3 million that he won, put 1.5 million into his family and the other 1.5 million into charities. That would have been useful.
What if he did? I don't know if he did that. What if he did that?
If he did that, then fair play to the kid.
All right, so let's get back to the Mahakama then. We've got to give mercy or no mercy to the tech company. Remember, they're called Play VS. So mercy or no mercy for Play VS encouraging high schoolers and college kids to play even more video games than they already do for leisure. What are you saying?
Oh, that's conflicting, that, because
the
they're doing it for a reason, yeah, because they will be getting a kickback or money or whatever from Fortnite for being involved with this. So mercy to them for going and getting their money and doing what they've got to do to survive. No mercy for the fact that basically, like, the kids these days are too invested in video games and stuff like that. Like, when I was 8 years old, I was not sat watching some stupid little character run on the screen. I was outside eating mud, and playing football.
I don't know, that's a good advert that we should be telling kids instead of watching other people play. They should
everybody's living in a virtual reality now. There's no concept of the real world anymore.
But if that's what we're in, right? My point is this: we're already there. There's no going back. We're in virtual reality.
God hits the reset button, boom, rapture, done.
We're on a podcast on the internet. We're there, right? Virtual reality is here.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, do we carry on leaning into it? Like, mercy for them leaning into it, or no mercy because ultimately you don't think there's anything positive that can come out of it? That's the question.
I'm stood on the no mercy side because of where... Because obviously I'm a different generation to that, and there's other people that will be different generations from me that said that we got it easy, and it's the old chestnut of, oh, back in my day we didn't have this, we didn't have that, and that's going to continue until I see something positive for the world to come out of it. Not positive for the kid who won 3 million, fair play to him, go live your life, but until something positive of the world comes out of it, and I'm no mercy for it.
So you're no mercy?
No mercy.
All right, well, I'm going to say mercy, and the reason behind that is, and it's funny that you were talking about back in my day, because I'm actually a little bit older than you, so you'd think, I don't look it, because, you know.
Yeah, but then again, I look 50.
But no, why you snatch the compliment away from me? You could have just said nothing. You could have just let me sit here and feel young, but no, I look 50 anyway, so it's fine that you look 45. Rude.
No, you look at least 22.
Thanks. Much appreciated. You won back. Okay. So, no. The reason I'm giving mercy is because, like I said, with the whole virtual reality thing, we're headed in that direction. The train is going. There's no stopping it, right? And so for me, if a company like PlayVS wants to come along, instead of inventing some other bullshit app that we don't need, but actually take something that kids are already addicted to, already spending a lot of time doing, but giving them the opportunity to choose that as a skill set, not necessarily a skill set like manual labor or whatever, but in the same way you would choose basketball, football, rugby. Having that as a sport, quote unquote, option, first of all, is more inclusive for people who aren't very athletic. Secondly, it gives them options, because that could lead to anything. If they're playing at high school level, that means in the future, there's the opportunity to have things like scholarships based on you being really fucking good at video games. That means that those kids' parents don't have to figure out how they're going to send their kids to school to get them a good education, because there's a scholarship for them playing Fortnite. That sounds crazy and stupid, but it's amazing at the same time.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is amazing, but at the end of the day,
like in any other circumstance, though, that 13 or 14-year-old kid, what other situation other than winning a Fortnite tournament would he have been able to get $3 million to take home to his family? In what other situation, realistically?
Criminal activity. No.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, no, to be fair, now you've just explained that it was thought-provoking in the fact of what if you looked at it from an extreme viewpoint.
Yeah.
So what would you rather have, the kids in school playing Fortnite and doing something they enjoy, or the kids that are out on the street corners every night they're going around stabbing each other at the moment?
Doing absolutely nothing. So, they've got nothing to occupy their time.
From that point of view,
they might be able to provide for their families. They might be able to provide for their future kids. Yes, it's stupid that it's with Fortnite, but if that's where we are anyway, why not? That's why I say mercy.
No, okay, I can see that, but at the same time, like, it's because it's a different. I think it's because I don't play the game in it, and I've never enjoyed the game.
What you're saying is you wish you could play the game so well that you could bring back 3 million.
Yeah,
if you can't do it, fuck everyone else.
You can't fucking bottle rap and do that. This guy's talking about virtual reality. There's a 30-year-old man who bottle raps. Listen, talking about you can't make that. Listen, the guy went to a private school, he's talking about gang and shit. Listen. This is what I'm trying to say. You know, life's virtual reality. Another one is the sports thing, It's a sport because you watch football to see people who play football do things you can't do. So when these kids sit in the bedroom and watch these kids playing computer games, they're watching it to see things that they can't do.
And when you were a kid, if you had older siblings or cousins, you weren't fucking playing every time anyway. You were sat right there cross-legged watching your cousins play a game.
Quidditch in his school.
First of all, that was an incredible point. But that's a really good point about when people talk about kids watching other kids play games.
No, that is.
I'm 32. I very clearly remember as a kid sat there watching my older cousins play Tekken, and I'm like, when is it going to be my turn?
Well, when it was my little cousin saying, I just unplugged the controller and just making think he was playing.
Okay, but you're a dickhead. Anyway, so.
We've following on from Gringo's point and the points that you make. Yes, that is thought-provoking. And
you don't have to fully agree.
I don't fully agree, but I agree with certain points.
It's a great. I thought it'd be a great thing to have in my company because definitely. It is one of those kind of split opinions type situations, and there's a lot of variables to it as well. But listen, thank you so much for doing this, and thank you to Gringo and Nick for their inputs, particularly Gringo because he's fucking hilarious. And Nick for just flirting as always.
What the fuck, man?
Nick being a total flirt for no reason. I can favouritize whoever I want. You wanted to lick salt off my fingers, mate. I'm favouritising.
I'm going to cinema. I ain't watching none of this licking fingers.
Alright. With all that being said, do you want people to follow you on anything?
Yeah, Yaneth_raps on Snapchat, Yan with 2 A's on Instagram, and @YanethArtist on Twitter.
Nice. Well, follow @Pod of Mercy if you don't already. New episodes every other Wednesday. Thank you so much to Gringo and RKid for letting us use their space.
Yeah, get down to the vape shop.
Get down to the RKid Vape and CBD shop as well.
She was about to say that from
opened in Irlam. I'm going to do that again because these guys are dickheads and won't shut up. Follow @Pod of Mercy on Twitter and Instagram to find out about new episodes. We put new out every other Wednesday. Thank you so much to Gringo and RKid for letting us use their space. Listen to RKid podcast. Visit RKid Vape and CBD Store in Irlam, Manchester. And I'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Peace. Bye.